Hello, sleepyheads. A few days ago, I received this book in the mail. I bought a whole bunch of books, actually. 7, I think. Feels like a whole bunch for someone who's out of practice in buying books. But bookshop.org.com something was doing free shipping to compete with Amazon, so naturally I had to buy some books. I've been in a bit of a reading slump, you could say, for literal months. I've been writing a lot, but not reading. But now I'm having a hard time writing, so maybe it's a good time to read. So I first read the books of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin. I was around 12, I think. We had an omnibus like this. Not really like this, it was more like a mass market paperback kind of. Like that size. We had an omnibus, and I read not quite the whole thing. I don't remember the reason why I didn't finish the last story. Lost interest somehow. It was around that age that when I was younger, I read adult novels, like adult fantasy, and then like Terry Brooks and that kind, and then I got out of that and I only wanted to read like abridged books, and then I got back into it. But anyways, I never have gone back and finished reading them, and I saw this Books of Earthsea complete illustrated edition, and I was just like, I think I need that in my life. So, it's quite a thick book, you can see. This thick. And now we're going to open it. Quick show you what the dust jacket looks like. Whenever I look into and read big hardcover books, I always take the dust jacket off. So, illustrated by Charles Vess. Got this gorgeous red dragon on the front. A little boat, and then on the back. This is such an interesting dust jacket. It's like a larger sheet of paper and it's been folded over. And then just some praise on the back. Not that important. This is the book. I've got a little journal underneath to help prop it up, so ignore that. It says, I don't know what it says. It says Ursula K. Le Guin, but it looks so squunched. You are Ursula. Okay. I guess her signature is very squunched. That's clearly a signature. We got a little chalice up here. Embossed on the spine. So here's the inside cover. It's the same writing picture. The little guy over here, and then continues on this side with a guy and a girl. I barely remember anything about Earthsea, so I can't even tell you who these people are. I'm also filming this mostly with just natural lighting, so it's gonna come and go. It's just the lights in my room are not really positioned for this angle, so we're working with what we've got. Books of Earthsea, complete illustrated edition. Got other works by Earthsea, novels of the Ecumen, the Annals of the Western Shore, other novels, very far away from anywhere else. Poetry, more poetry. Finding My Elegy, Going Out with Peacocks, and Other Poems, story collections, the Unreal and Real selected stories, translations, and criticism. Books of Earthsea. Dragon again. This page is shiny. Okay, contents. Introduction. A Wizard of Earthsea. Tombs of Atuan. The Farthest Shore. Tahanu. Tales from Earthsea. The Other Wind, a description of Earthsea. The Word of Unbinding, The Rule of Names, Daughter of Odrin, Firelight, Earthsea Revisioned. I think these are the illustrations, maybe like full color ones. I think there's a bunch of not colored ones. Right, here's Earthsea. Oh, it's interesting, the maps like that. The North Reach, East Reach, Kargad Lands. Let's read some of the names. Spevy, Tor Heaven, Eskel, the Toracles, Barnesk, the Inmost Sea, interesting. Uni, the Closed Sea, I guess because it's closed in by land. What else? Innsmer, Ifish, Kopish. Some of these names are very funny, but I think that can really work very well because it definitely sounds like regular old people named them. It's like, how many rivers are out there in the world that are named River, but the name of the river is just river in an older language than English. Introduction. Let's read a little bit. Earthsea had its beginning in 1964 in 2 stories that I wrote and published. They are slight, more like a sailor's chance of sighting a couple of islands than the discovery of a new world. Earthsea exists in them, though, as the Americas existed in 1942 in Watlings Island, now known as San Salvador Island, These stories speak of the islands, of the outer reach, of the great rich islands of the archipelago, the inner lanes, the roadsteads white with ships, and the golden roofs of Havnor. Earthsea is there, though unexplored. Some things mentioned, trolls, black magic, will never appear again, but one element in each story will turn out to be part of the deep fabric of Earthsea. The rule of names shows a magic that works through name and knowledge, and the word of unbinding gives a first glimpse of the shadow world of the dead. The rest of Earthsea waited then till 1968, when the editor of Parnassus Press in Berkeley asked me if I'd write a fantasy novel for younger readers. After I've gotten over the panic, and a big story about a young wizard began to sketch itself in my head, the first thing I did was sit down and draw a map. I saw and named Earthsea and all its islands. I knew almost nothing about them, but I knew their names. In the name is the magic. As a writer, I relate greatly to this. Talking about different illustrations that the books have had. With this fully illustrated complete Earthsea, I can let Charles Vess's art speak for itself. I have written so often of how and why it took me so long to write the 6 books of Earthsea that the story has become like the book you have to read to your 4-year-old every night for weeks. You really want to hear it again? Okay, well, here it goes. I wrote the first 3 books in 5 years, 68, 70, 72. I was on a roll. None of them was closely plotted or planned before writing. In each of them, much of the story came to me as I followed what I wrote, where inevitably led. That's me! I also am a pantser. I started confidently on the 4th book. The central character was Tenar again, of course, to balance it out. I knew she hadn't stayed and studied wizardry in Ogian, with Ogian, but I'm probably pronouncing this wrong, but had married a farmer and had children, and that the story was going to bring her and get back together. But by the middle of the first chapter, I realized I didn't know who she was. Now, that's also relatable. Maybe I should stop reading in case there's spoilers. Dum 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 dum. What is this? If a dragon comes to you and says whatever this says, you don't ask questions, you do what it says. There is a great talent afoot, set like a step in front of you, and above it the crook of the elbow joint, and above that the jutting shoulder blade. A stairway. You clamber up that stairway, feeling the fiery inner heat of the dragon's body. You set yourself between the vast wings, take hold of the big spine thorn before you, and the dragon lifts, takes off, takes you where you and it must go, flying on the other wind, flying free. Okay. Another dragon. I love dragons so much. To my brothers, Clifton, dead and gone. Detailed and minimalistic. Like the color palette is restricted. There's so many little lines on the roofs, in the window, the cobblestone streets. I love cobblestone streets. We've got a horse here pulling a wagon full of barrels. You've got a canal with boats. And here's a boat, they're unloading it. Yeah, it's going down the ramp, they're unloading. There's some birds up in the sky over here. Blue sky. I think it's maybe sunset. There's a little bit of pink over here. Contents. This is our little sparrowhawk, I think. Warriors in the Mist, The Shadow, The School for Wizards, The Loosing of the Shadow, Dragon of Pendor, Hunted, The Hawk's Flight, Hunting, Ifish, The Open Sea. Only 10 chapters. I know this is a big book. The letters are decently small, but I forgot that these books are not very long. Indeed, they are for younger readers, but also for all readers of all ages. Only in silence the word, only in dark the light, only in dying life, bright the hawk's flight on the empty sky. The creation of Ea. And here's the first chapter of The Wizard of Earthsea. If you want to read this book, you can read it for yourself. I'm not gonna ruin it for you. Let's find an illustration. Here's one. I think this is Ojian. I think I've heard it spelled. It's pronounced Ojian. Not sure. And this again, bird. There's so much you can convey in a black and white illustration. Let's find another one. Here's a doubler. Dragon around a ruined castle. Tail coming up here. His wings. It's very serpentine kind of body. In the style of like Asian dragons. Or how Asian dragons are typically depicted. I'm thinking of my book of dragonology here. Got a boat coming. The dragon is like, oh, who is this challenger coming into my domain? Another color one. Oh, this is ominous. It's bright, but the yellow is a very cold yellow. It's cool tones. And it's cool toned brown. This young girl coming forward to do something. I don't like the looks of this. Oh, a map. The Labyrinth of the Tombs of Atuan. And, Temple of the God Brothers. Correct corners. Temple of the God King. The throne. The place of the Tombs of Atuan. Small house. These supposed to be trees? I don't know about these. This really is a labyrinth. Like, this is how you do a labyrinth. You make it very random seeming. Not just like a square or a circle. Yeah, that's a labyrinth for sure. Room of Bones? That's not at all a building. Just some rocks. The trees is a forest. I can't really tell. I like these clouds up here though, the birds. Dragon. think this is Gad again. Note that he's got colored skin, brownishy skin. There's an adaptation of Earthsea out there, but it's just a white guy in that one, which is no thanks. I love this shape. Wonder if you can tell. Telling stories. Maybe? What is going on? Birds. Interesting house, hut thing. Some kind of something funky going on here. I don't know what. I need to read the book to find out. Mountains of Pain. Yeah, that sounds great. Village. The ginormous dragon statue, I believe. Something magical going on here. That's for sure. Breathing fire. I'm not staying too long on these because I don't want to accidentally spoil anything. A description of Earthsea. Peoples and languages. The Hardic lands. Kargad lands. Languages. The Old Speech, or the language of making. Writing. History, beginnings, history of the archipelago, the dark time, the hand, and the rogue school. Magic. You definitely shouldn't know anything about this. More names. Earthsea review. And that is this book. Even though it's been many years since I've read this, I can still recommend it. From what I remember, it's so good and interesting. The world is fascinating. The characters are very well developed. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day or night. Sleep well.